Alrighty, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be playing some more Innistrad Limited. I really enjoyed this format and it's going away after this. So I figured what better time is there than to just get drunk on rum and coke and during election night and forget all about the fact that that's happening and start by drafting off some Burning Vengeance. Remember, don't drink and deck build, kids. Alright, pack number 2. I really want to force Burning Vengeance. I think that would be a lot of fun. If I was going to do that, I probably would take Armored Scob. I don't, Butcher's Cleaver is very clearly the pick here, because Butcher's Cleaver can carry you by itself. I'm going to take the Scob. Taking the Cleaver and going humans there was absolutely the correct choice, and I refuse to do so. Alright, pack number 3. Rolling Temblor seems nice. It's kind of rare to actually flashback it, but the board wipe effect does seem kind of nice here. I think Dissipate is actually good in this format because Cancel is sort of playable. Unless they're playing in a really aggro deck, Cancel is actually quite playable in this format. So I'm going to take Rolling Temblor. I don't want to dedicate double colors right now if I can avoid it. Obviously, the Exile portion of Dissipate is also good in a set with this much graveyard recursion and flashback. Flashback as a mechanic might be kind of boring, because all it is you get the spell again, right, for a different cost, but at the same time, it's one of those mechanics that feels fun to play with, just feels good to play with. Alright, really liking Harvest Pyre. Armored Scob is okay, Mulch is fine. I think I'm going to take the Harvest Pyre. Harvest Pyre is kind of an underrated removal spell. It even was in Standard, too. I remember people playing it in the Rune Chanter's Pike deck that was playing, Snapcasters and Lingering Souls when Lingering Souls was eventually in the format and stuff like that. But Harvest Pyre gives us a use for all of the spells that are in the grave that don't have flashback, that we can't get value off of Burning Vengeance with. And from the lack of flashback spells that I'm seeing, I'm wondering if someone else drafted Burning Vengeance. Ancient Grudge, not really playable. Feeling of Dread is super playable. Definitely worth splashing for. This is the #1 reason that you can play the mill deck, is this card right here. It helps you fill the gaps in between casting removal spells to actually give yourself enough time to win through mill. I'm gonna take it because it's also good in the Burning Vengeance deck. Knot of the Bone would be, but we're not gonna have that many creatures if this is the deck that we're playing. Ghostly Possession is also very good in Burning Vengeance and other similar decks like Mill. When your opponent has a low number of creatures, this is effectively Fog with Flashback Fog. It's like Moment of Peace. Okay, Past in Flames ought to come all the way around. This is a card we can actually play in this deck. I'm going to take Curse of the Bloody Tome, though, because Curse is a much higher value card for almost every other deck. If Past in Flames doesn't come all the way around to literally be last pick, I'd be super surprised. But this is a deck that I would play Past in Flames in. Creeping Renaissance is also a really strong flashback card. Just getting back all of your permanents that have gone to the grave that you've milled can be very good. I'm going to take Ghoul Caller's Bell because I actually think this is a mill deck with Burning Vengeance backup. Or Burning Vengeance to take advantage of the fact that we're milling ourselves. Which is fair. We're going to be playing a control deck, which will be kind of fun. Taking a break from all of the aggro decks I've been playing lately. So what are we looking for? We're looking for Burning Vengeance #2, Curse of the Bloody Tomes #2 through 5. I'd basically play any number of those I could get. Feeling of Dread's also super good for our deck. And then removal. For us, I think we take Pitchburn Devils out of this pack. It's not great for us. Somberwald Spider would be a lot better, but I'm not playing green. We're going to have lots of instants and sorceries, so I technically could probably play Delver in this deck. Stencio Bloodhall is not playable in a 3-color deck. I'm going to take Delver because Night Reveler seems bad to me. Delver is not good in Limited. I guess I take Dissipate. We could probably play Naturalize out of the sideboard, but... Yep. Another Dissipate. We'll take a Moon Heron. We do need some number of creatures, right? I'm also going to take Fortress Crab. Ancient Grudge is playable in the sideboard, but I think I would rather have a big blocker here. Curse of Oblivion is not really a playable card. It can be if you're doing the Curse of Misfortunes thing, but I think that's in Dark Ascension. I don't think that's in Innistrad, from what I remember. Even if it was, it's a rare. Alright, so in this pack, I'm going to take Ghoul Caller's Bell. It's the #1 priority for a mill deck, so I'm going to take that. Feeling of Dread, I'm kind of hoping wheels out of this pack, and nothing else in this pack I'm really that interested in. Ghoul Caller's Bell is the secret most powerful mill spell in this format. Tree of Redemption. I think I'm going to take Shimmering Grotto. I should take something else, because Shimmering Grotto is probably going to come around. I mean, Bonds of Faith is a removal spell we could actually play, as long as we're not playing against humans. It's better when you're playing a deck full of humans, though. I'm going to take Shimmering Grotto. There it is! Oh man, I wish I was playing, I wish I was playing freaking zombies right now. I love this card. Look at that! 3-mana 5/6 flyer that you can cast from your grave. You just have to exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard. Think Twice is the more playable flashback spell here. Memory's Journey is really powerful and super good because you can put things like Burning Vengeance back in your deck. But Memory's Journey should come around. I'm going to take Think Twice. If Memory's Journey doesn't come around and we don't get one by the end of this draft, I'm going to be a little bit upset. Not too upset, just a little bit. Claustrophobia is very good, so I'm going to take Claustrophobia. Dream Twist, Desperate Ravings, Ghoul Caller's Bell. I'm going to take Dream Twist, as it's a cheap flashback spell. We're probably going to win with Mill anyway. Ghoul Caller's Bell, hopefully wheels. I would play Desperate Ravings if I got it. One thing that Delver can do if you're playing Ghoul Caller's Bell in this format, you can actually look at the top card of your deck and decide whether or not you want to mill it before you draw it. So even though it's not really an aggressive creature and it might just stick around to chump block once, potentially it's a 1/1 that says Scry 1 if you have Ghoul Caller's Bell. Or Surveil 1, now that we have that keyword. Alright, Scourge of Gaia Reach. Not a lot of good cards for us here. Trepanation Blade technically mills, but we only have 5 creatures. I'll take another Pitchburn Devils, I think. Ooh, Labman. We could mill ourselves. I actually think that's the pick, too. Alright. Interesting. Now we really need a Memory's Journey to make this come together. Alright, we do want Harvest Pyre. Not going to have enough creatures for something like Stitch Drake to actually be castable ever. Alright, Feeling of Dread came all the way around, so we'll take that. Probably Bonds of Faith. I know it wants me to take Frightful Delusion, but 4 Spike I don't think is very castable in this format at 3 mana. Even with the upside of forcing your opponent to discard. Sensory Deprivation, on the other hand, is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's looking like no Memory's Journey for us. I'll take Make-A-Wish. Yeah, I guess Hysterical Blindness is sort of like a fog. Infernal Plunge, not really playing that either. And our last pick is a Forest. Alright, pack 3. Alright, pack number 3. No good flashback spells. I guess we just pick the most powerful removal in our colors. Take Claustrophobia. Alright. Alright. Hinterland Harbor. It's actually auto-selecting Hinterland Harbor. Yeah, could you imagine if I'd been playing humans and had 2 Butcher's Cleavers in this deck? Would have been great. I actually think I will take this, because it's possible it'll help me on some flashback nonsense. I won't play a 3rd Dissipate. Odds are I won't play a 2nd Fortress Crab. Ancient Grudge, there's been a lot of them. Another Feeling of Dread. Claustrophobia is probably a better pick, but we have a lot of 3-mana playables, and Feeling of Dread works for so many reasons in this deck. There's a Memory's Journey. Ghoulcaller's Bell and Harvest Spire would both be good. Because we have Labman, and I'm actually really, really heavily debating about milling myself, we need Memory's Journey, and since the first one didn't wheel, I doubt the second one will. Alright, this pack does not have a lot for us. I guess I'll take the Ashmouth Hound. Probably wouldn't hurt to have an 8th creature. Oh, man. I wonder if we can actually build a nearly creatureless deck and have it work to some extent. I will take Selhoff Occultist. It mills. Runic Repetition is a card that I would play in this deck. Traveler's Amulet will definitely help fix. I will take a Ghostly Possession, as it is a very good removal spell. Ancient Grudge for the sideboard, definitely. Really wish we had like 2 more Ghoulcaller's Bells. At most, I think we could get 1. Harvest Pyre number 3 is not as good as Harvest Pyre number 2, so we'll take the Ghoulcaller's Bell. Selfless Cathar, yes. Sideboard, what's happening? Okay, sideboard. Hysterical Blindness to the side, and Swamp to the side. Alright, we got us a deck. And we will be playing that Hinterland Harbor to help for the flashback on Memory's Journey. So basically the plan is, if we see our opponent mill themselves at all, we mill them. And if they don't, we mill ourselves. Alright, so not playing Bonds of Faith, probably not playing Delver. Like the rest of our 1-drops, Ashmouth Hound does not contribute to the primary game plan. Neither does Frightful Delusions, Hysterical Blindness. Probably not playing Dissipate. Claustrophobia is good. I like Burning Vengeance and Rolling Temblor, and I don't like these 5-drops. Can I play 5 creature self-mill? Oh, man. This is gonna be something, I think. You know, we don't actually kill that many creatures, but our opponent... I'm gonna drop Moon Heron. Alright, 4 creature self-mill, let's go. At Shimmering Grotto, Hinterland Harbor, add basic lands. So we have 1, 2, 3 green sources for Memory's Journey, 1, 2, 3 red sources for Harvest Pyres, Burning Vengeance, and a Rolling Temblor. Lots of blue and a bit of white. Alright, yeah. My gut instinct says I'm going to need 1 more red source than I've got, but you know what? Let's do it. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alrighty, round 1, here we go. I would love to play first. Yeah, we got better openers than that. This one seems like it might work. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put back probably Rolling Temblor, actually. We are going to start Shimmering Grotto, Ghoulcaller's Bell. Pass the turn. Very important in these mill-style decks that you start with your best mill over time. Okay? When it's at first end step, we'll mill. We mill an island, and they mill an island. We draw an island, play an island. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent untaps. Plays an island. Mill both players. And I think I'm going to mill my opponent this game. Alright, untap. Draw an island, play an island, pass the turn. Probably going to mill and flashback think twice. Opponent thinks twice. Alright. Opponent plays a Markov Patrician, will mill, and draw a card. We draw Hinterland Harbor, untap, play an island, and a Fortress Crab. Pass the turn. Opponent is down to 23 cards in the library. They untap. They play a land. Spectral Flight. They're going to get Markov Patrician flying. Okay. They attack for 5. Take 5. They gain 5. They play a Diregraph Ghoul. So we mill, untap, draw an island, play a Hinterland Harbor, pass the turn. So this turn we will be casting a Feelings of Dread to tap their creatures. And plays their 5th land. Another Spectral Flight. So go to combat. Feeling of Dread, tap these creatures. Okay. Opponent casts a Stitched Drake. So, mill on their end step. Mill a Stitched Drake. We mill our own Feeling of Dread. Flashback Dream Twist. We mill Brain Weevil, Galvanic Juggernaut, and an island. Untap. Draw an island. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent draws a card. Goes to combat. Feeling of Dread. Tap their guys. They get in for 3. We take 3. Go to 12. Casts a Makeshift Mauler. Go ahead and make a mill. Mill a Tribute to Hunger. We mill Curse of the Bloody Tome, which is not good for us. Untap. Draw Runic Repetition. Play an island, and we're gonna we have to Runic Repetition for Dream Twist, I think. I'm not thrilled about that. Pass the turn. The other option was Feelings of Dread, but okay, go to combat. Feeling of Dread. Tap their 2 bigger flyers. They go to combat. They attack for 3 in the air. No blocks, because we can't. Opponent plays a Ghoul Razor, which means they're going to pick up a Stitched Drake. Okay. They have just enough mana to play it, too. Okay. But I think short of top decking a Feeling of Dread to do, like, maximal tap down. We mill oh, they have Undead Alchemist. I love that card. Card's not good, but it is fun. We mill a Ghoul Caller's Bell. Untap. We draw Claustrophobia. So Claustrophobia on Markov Patrician to keep it tapped. Play an island. And I think we're dead. Yeah, we're just dead in the air. So go ahead and mill 1 to see if we can mill anything important. Flashback Dream Twist. And we were very close. Opponent only had 5 cards left in their grave. Okay, do we make any adjustments knowing that our opponent is playing blue-black zombies? Dissipate might actually be worth it, considering the kinds of cards they're casting. But I also think we drew a lot of lands. So, just gonna run it back. Alright, we'll play first. I do like Burning Vengeance, and that we'll have all of our colors of mana. Yeah, I think I keep this. Unfortunately, no powerful mill start, so... which is probably wrong. My opponent almost just F6 through their whole turn. They start Island Delver. I'm gonna crack for a Plains now. We draw Sensory Deprivation. Play a Plains. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent does not get the Blind Delver flip, thankfully. Play a Swamp. We play a Walking Corpse. We're going to play an Occultist. Pass the turn. We don't have a lot of creatures, but this is an important one to have as a blocker right now. Best possible top deck right now, I think, is an Island. I'd like to get down Burning Vengeance and then play Sensory Deprivation on something, maybe? I doubt my opponent attacks into this. Yeah, okay. We untap. We draw Shimmering Grotto. Play Burning Vengeance. And I think I'm going to Deprivation their Delver of Secrets, because that's, of the 2 creatures, that's the one that would actually become a real problem later. Opponent, Frightful Delusions. Counter target spell unless they pay 1, and then we discard. Well, we can't pay 1, and we're going to discard Feeling of Dread. Okay, pass the turn. Feeling of Dread now is a tap, tap, and shock. Is Delver going to get the flip? Nope. Alright, we untap. We draw Think Twice, which is not a bad draw here. I'm going to pass for now. Still no flip on Delver. Opponent draws. Plays a land. Opponent is going to Spectral Flight. So let's flashback Feeling of Dread. Burning Vengeance, kill Corpse. Make our opponent mill. They might be setting up for like a Stitch Drake, because they knew we could do that. That was effectively an onboard trick. Okay, we untap. We draw a Lab Man. I'm gonna think twice now and see if we can't draw an island. Harvest Pyre is not bad. I'm actually gonna cast that right now, because we don't need Traveler's Amulet or Sensory Deprivation at any point. My opponent has a counter, they have a counter. But this is the least likely time for them to have a counter. Okay, another Frightful Delusions. I will not pay for it, and I will pitch Memory's Journey. Pass the turn, no attacks. Still no flip on Delver. Oh, don't like this. Makeshift Mauler. Opponent gets in for 3, sure. Take 3. We untap, we draw Ghoul Caller's Bell. So, Claustrophobia, Makeshift Mauler. So we don't have to deal with that. Pass. I also do not want to reveal Ghoul Caller's Bell if I can avoid it. If we draw a land, we can kill both of our opponent's flyers using Burning Vengeance. Because we can think twice to draw a card and then flashback Memory's Journey. We take 6, we go to 10. 5 mana, opponent has a Stromkirk Patrol, which is a 4/3. We untap and draw Dream Twist. Cast Think Twice, kill Moon Heron. Mill our opponent. Play an island. We'll cast Memory's Journey. I will put Harvest Pyre back, because in theory we're going to put some more cards into our grave. Use this to kill Delver. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. I don't think we should just chump here. Kind of depends on what our opponent plays, though, especially if they're playing something pre-combat. Tribute to Hunger. They gain 3 life. Yeah, we'll mill them. We mill Markov Patrician. And opponent plays a Diregraph Ghoul. Hits us for 4. We untap. We draw Plains. Play Plains. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Kill Diregraph Ghoul. Play Ghoul Caller's Bell. Mill. Pass the turn. We really gotta find some way to deal with this. They only need 1 point of damage, though, and I'm pretty sure they can find it some way. They flashback Think Twice to draw a card, they play a land. Hit us for 5, we go down to 1. Short of a big Harvest Pyre, though, I'm not sure we can actually kill this Stromkirk Patrol. So I'd like to top deck a Feeling of Dread to give us a couple of turns to do something about this. We untap and draw an island. We mill Claustrophobia, and that's the game. Very close to milling our opponent both games. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, if I don't have a way to start early, as in get some Ghoul Caller's Bells or a Tome in my opener, I think I mulligan. Alright, we're on the draw. Curse of the Bloody Tome in the opener, 1 land. We draw a second land, we can think twice. We have a Sensory Deprivation. I think if this is ever going to work, it's this hand, so I'm going to keep. Opponent starts Swamp. We draw a Feeling of Dread. Play an island, pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain into a Blood-Crazed Neonate. Time for a Sensory Deprivation. Pass the turn. We do need to draw lands, and in a hurry. Okay, opponent attacks for 0. Rakish Air is going to be a problem. We get a Hinterland Harbor, play Hinterland Harbor, and think twice. Get a Harvest Pyre, pass the turn. Okay, Rakish Air is going to start growing, which is an issue because now it's out of Rolling Temblor range. Opponent plays a Typhoid Rats. We untap, draw another Harvest Pyre. Pass the turn. We're going to discard Feeling of Dread, because we can use that to buy ourselves an extra turn. Opponent goes to combat. Might as well stop that from growing larger. Opponent hits us for 0. We really need to draw that land. Untap. We draw Ghoul Caller's Bell. Oh, that's something to play. I know when I activate it, I'm going to mill a land, too. Oh, it's a Runic Repetition. I was wrong. Pass the turn. Runic Repetition would have been nice, but... I mean, just casting our other spells would help win the game a lot harder, I think. So we take 4. Rakish Air gets bigger. 1 land, any land, and we can play Claustrophobia on it. Burning Vengeance is not what I said. So Ghoul Caller's Bell will mill. We mill a Dream Twist. Pass the turn, discarding Feeling of Dread. Wow. This is one of the longest amounts of time I've ever gone without drawing a 3rd land. Like, other than the cycling deck, which was absurd. I don't know if anybody watched that Ikoria draft, but I cycled through something like 30 cards and didn't find land number 3. Short of that, this is probably the next most ridiculous. Alright, we get a Traveler's Amulet, which means we can actually get to our 3rd land. Problem is, we're probably going to die. Okay, we mill Vampiric Fury, which is nice, because that's like 4 or 5... Actually, that's 5 damage that we prevented there. Potentially 6. Okay. Opponent attacks, we take 8. They have a Vampiric Fury, which means we take a lot more than 8. Alright, scoop it up. Run it back. The 1-land greed did not pay off for us. Like I said, kids, don't drink and draft. Or drink and deck build. I'd love to play first. It's fine, we have spells we can cast, but we need a hand like this that starts with Ghoul Caller's Bell. I'm going to keep and put back Fortress Crab. I know Fortress Crab's one of our only creatures, but I think Claustrophobia is going to be better. Start Bell. Begin ringing the bell. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Mounted. We draw Shimmering Grotto, play an island. Ring the bell. Mill a Falconwrath Noble and a Harvest Pyre. Okay. No plays for the first 2. Okay, Dream Twist. Untap. Play a Plains. Ring the bell. We mill Armored Scob and a mountain for them. I wonder if we milled the land they needed. Nope. It just took them a while to play it. I'm not that lucky. Markov Patricia. Okay. Flashback Dream Twist. Milled 2 Victim of Nights. Could be worse. We'll play Shimmering Grotto. Claustrophobia. Ring the bell. Pass the turn. Our opponent has a lot of creature removal. And us milling that and not their creatures is worse, because we don't need our creatures. We only have like 4 of them. Our opponent is running more removal spells that we've milled than we're running creatures. Okay, opponent plays a Brain Weevil. Are they gonna just sack it and mind rot me? Oh no! My feelings of dread. Okay, we untap. We draw Sensory Deprivation. Mill both players. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp. Falconwrath Noble. Mill both players. Kind of wanted to draw that Feeling of Dread instead of this Plains, but I didn't realize I was milling myself on my own upkeep. Not that it really matters. Well, Sensory Deprivation. Pass the turn. Opponent only has 16 cards left in the library. They play a Rakish Air. Okay. We untap. We draw Hinterland Harbor. Play Hinterland Harbor. Mill both players. Pass the turn. So if my opponent goes to combat, I am going to Feeling of Dread to tap Rakish Air, because if I can keep it on 2... and I draw a red source, I can flashback Rolling Temblor. A second Rakish Air. Okay. So we have 2 turns to draw a red source. And if we do, it'll be awesome. So we have a Traveler's Amulet we could find, or a Mountain. We draw an island. Each player mills. Memory's Journey. Alright. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Goes to combat. Feeling of Dread. If we'd had 2 Ghoul Caller's Bells, we'd have won already. Opponent plays a Stromkirk Patrol. Okay, I'm going to flashback Memory's Journey, and we're going to put back Claustrophobia and Harvest Pyre. Untap. We draw Traveler's Amulet. Play Amulet. Oh, this is a turn too late, isn't it? Crack it for red. Play this, but this is 6 mana to flashback. Oh, no. Ooh, Feeling of Dread. We're actually fine. Temporarily, we are temporarily fine. That Stromkirk Patrol is going to be enormous because of the Rakish air triggers. So, Feeling of Dread. Tap those 2. But this Stromkirk Patrol is going to get 3 counters put on it, which means we're taking 4, and then we're taking 7, and then we'll be taking 8 after that. Attacking with Falconwrath Noble? Oh, no, they have Vampiric Fury, don't they? Because that makes this big enough to for us not to be able to deal with if they have Vampiric Fury. Because it gets like 3 counters for being able to... Oh, man. And Rolling Temblor can't kill this because it flies. Oh, jeez. Okay. What plays a land? I think we're just dead. Curse of the Nightly Hunt on us. We untap. Go ahead and mill. We mill Claustrophobia. We do draw Harvest Pyre. We're taking 8. So, flashback Rolling Temblor. Gotta kill the Rakish heirs. Opponent's gonna drain us for 3 life. Oh, we're dead to Stency of Bloodhall. How embarrassing. Opponent can hit us for 8, and then Stency of Bloodhall us. Oh. I don't think I've ever died to this card, and I just did. Yep, if only we had a second Ghoul Caller's Bell. Alright, round 3. Alright. Round 3, here we go. I would love to play first. It's a Ghoul Caller's Bell start, but not much else. I think I'm going to mulligan. I like this a lot better. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to put back... I think I put back a land, actually. So we'll start island, Bell. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain. We'll pass to their end step. Mill him for 1. Untap. Draw Runic Repetition. Play Ghoul Caller's Bell. Pass the turn. We do need to draw a land, but theoretically we should. Opponent plays a swamp into an Ashmouth Hound. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Oh, we milled 2 of our own lands. That's not what we want. We untap. There it is. Draw a land. Curse of the Bloody Tome. On our opponent. Okay, pass the turn. Opponent mills. Ghoul Razor and Nightbird's clutches. Opponent plays a mountain. Goes to combat. Hits us for 2. We take 2. Go to 18. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Untap. Draw an island. Play an island. Pass the turn. I think we got him this game. Because we have 4 Feeling of Dreads, effectively. Opponent mills Mountain, Silver Inlaid Dagger off of Curse. They play a mountain. Go to combat. Attack us for 2. No blocks. Go to 16. They play a Rotting Fen Snake. Okay. Mill. Mill. Playing Cellar Door. Draw an island, play an island, pass the turn. Just look how fast we're milling them now. Oh, they have Liliana of the Veil and Unbreathing Horde. My opponent's deck is actually pretty good. Their worst card is Rotting Fen Snake, and even then it's not actually that bad. Okay, so beginning of combat. Feeling of Dread. Tap their guys. Okay, opponent's gonna play something big. Grimgrin! Oh, I love Grimgrin. He's so good. Oh, this card is like a house in Limited. Look at him. Look at how much text he has. Enters the battlefield tapped. You can sack a creature to untap him and put a 1/1 counter on it. And whenever he attacks, you get a free murder on any of your opponent's creatures. We got 2 Feeling of Dreads now. Ooh, mill a Think Twice. Flashback a Think Twice. Ghostly Possession. Oh, okay. Untap. We draw Rolling Temblor. Possess that ghost with some or possess that zombies with some ghost. I can't speak English. Everybody knows this at this point. Yeah, he's got flying now. Oh, I hate to do this to you, Grimgrin. But you know I love you. Best zombie. He's got a 4-card infinite combo with him, Rooftop Storm, and Gravecrawler to make an infinitely large Grimgrin, and then you just need to fling him. Alright, beginning of combat. Feeling a dread. Tap their attackers. This is what we've been trying to do all night. Opponent is like, I'm done. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna run back. Alright. Gonna mulligan this hand. We've got some shocks off of Burning Vengeance, but we need multiple, like, Ghoul Caller spells to start, I think. 1 to 4. Gotta find them. 1 to 3. Gotta find them. There they are. Alright, keep. We're gonna put back Ghostly Possession, Claustrophobia, Selhoff, Occultist. Oh, and I guess Feeling of Dread. So we need to top deck, like, nothing but lands and then the spells we need in the order we need them. Let's go. Opponent starts Traveler's Amulet. Alright. Slow start for our opponent. We draw a land, which is good. It's a red land, which is harder for us to draw. Start by milling. You never know, we could mill a Singleton Splash land or something. We mill a Think Twice, which is good. Opponent plays a Swamp. Passes, no 2-drop. Well, that is good for us. Play Ghoul Caller's Bell. Play Traveler's Amulet. And pass the turn. If they crack Traveler's Amulet, I'll mill them twice in response. Okay, mill and mill. Pass the turn. They find a mountain. Okay. They play a mountain. They play Lily. We don't have any cards in our hand. I guess they could alt Lily. That would actually be kind of a problem. They pitch Rolling Temblor. We untap. We draw Memory's Journey. Crack Traveler's Amulet. Get a Plains. Play a Plains. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. We milled Grimgrin. Opponent upticks. So we're going to put Armored Scob, Traveler's Amulet, and Sensory Deprivation back into the deck. Okay, opponent discards a card. They discard an island. They play an island. And they cast Moan of the Unhallowed. Alright, we untap, we draw. Plains. Play a Plains. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. So we would not mind drawing a Rolling Temblor here. I don't think Harvest Pyre hits Planeswalkers. I think it's just creatures. Opponent attacks for 4. Take 4, go to 16. Opponent plays a Markov Patrician. Upticks Lily to 6. Ditching a Night Terrors. Okay. On our opponent's end step, flashback Think Twice. Get a Sensory Deprivation. Untap. We draw Island. Play an island. Deprive Patrician. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. And I'm going to Dream Twist them as well. Pass the turn. Opponent is going to ult Liliana, though, which is something that we can't do much about. Especially having mulligan to 3. They play Undead Alchemist, which actually I think extends our life total a little bit. We have no creatures for them to mill and make zombies, basically. Oh, I lied. They milled 2 of our 4 creatures. Okay. Oh, we're gonna need Rolling Temblor to get out of this. And if my opponent just ults and puts Mountain in one pile, everything else in the other pile, we lose. Okay, opponent ults Lily. One thing you gotta remember is if your opponent ults Lily, you choose a pile to sacrifice, not a pile to keep. Alright, we have to keep the red mana, which means we're getting rid of Sensory Deprivation and 2 Plains. Alright, we untap. Rolling Temblor off the top 1 time. Traveler's Amulet. Unfortunately, I don't think that does it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 15. Yeah, alright. Game 3. Run it back. We'll play first. Can't keep a one-lander. This isn't great, but we technically have all of our colors of mana. Ghostly Possession's a pretty good removal spell for us, and we have a really big blocker. I'm going to put back an island. We're going to start island because the only double color spells we have are double blue, I think. One does also mulligan to 6. They're debating about mulliganing to 5. Okay. Island, Bell, Mill. Pass the turn. Okay, we untap, draw Traveler's Amulet, play a Plains, play Amulet, crack it, we'll get a Mountain. Mill our opponent, and us, I guess. Pass the turn. We milled Undead Alchemist. Opponent plays a Village Ironsmith. We untap and draw Think Twice, play a Mountain, think twice, mill both players, pass the turn. Losing Runic Repetition kind of sucks, but we can Memories Journey it back into the deck. Okay, opponent plays a Silver Inlaid Dagger. Hits us for 4. We untap, draw an island, play an island, go ahead and possess the Ironsmith. Mill each player. We mill a Ghoul Caller's Bell. That sucks. Pass the turn. Play a Rotting Fen Snake. We untap. We draw. Hinterland Harbor. Play Hinterland Harbor. Play Fortress Crab. Mill. Oh no, we milled Curse. That does not bode well. Maybe if we get lucky and like draw it off of this Memories Journey. I don't know why, but Crabs and Mill deck seem to just go together. Well, we can't mill our opponent in response to try and prevent them from picking up Undead Alchemist. So our opponent picks up Undead Alchemist, goes to combat, passes. Okay. On their end step, Memories Journey. Put back Curse, Runic Repetition, and Ghoul Caller's Bell. Pay green. Untap. We draw Harvest Pyre. So play Shimmering Grotto. Mill us both. We mill Labman. There will be no self-mill victory. I'm not going to play Armored Scob. I'm going to wait. Pass the turn. Okay. Iron Fang flips. God, overlapping sound effects. Okay, opponent plays an Undead Alchemist. They go to combat. They attack for 2. I mean, we just block, right? Okay. Flashback, think twice. Harvest Pyre, we're going to kill Undead Alchemist. Exiling Sensory Deprivation and Traveler's Amulet. Okay. Untap. Iron Fang flips. We draw an island, play an island, mill us both. Pass the turn. We milled Mona the Unhallowed, so at least they're not casting that. Pass the turn. I actually think if we play this Armored Scob, I may not be able to, without drawing Tome, Curse of the Tome, I don't think we can actually mill our opponent before we would mill ourselves, even having cast Memories Journey, which is why I'm not playing this 1/4. Okay, opponent plays a Markov Patrician. We untap and draw a second Ghoul Caller's Bell. So play Ghoul Caller's Bell. Mill. And mill. Pass the turn. I actually have to restart the client, it's lagging too hard. Alright. Pass the turn. I mean, I guess technically if I played Armored Scob, we could still win, but that would involve drawing Dream Twist and probably Runic Repetitioning it back, which is a bit difficult. Okay, opponent moves over the Silver Inlaid Dagger. Goes to combat and attacks. Block the 5/1 with a 1/6. They have a Harvest Pyre or a combat trick. Oh, if they had a Harvest Pyre, I imagine they would have just cast it. But they probably have a combat trick of some sort. Maybe even a Geist Flame. Ancient Grudge hitting Ghoul Caller's Bell. Alright, we untap. We draw Curse of the Bloody Tome. Immediately Windmill Slam that onto our opponent. And mill. Pass the turn. We mill Lily, so we don't have to worry about her. No attackers. Pass the turn. Opponent mills Mountain Island off of Curse. Okay. Opponent makes a big Ghoul Razor. Does not attack. Draw Claustrophobia. So, Claustrophobia, the Fen Snake. I think we're going to get there. We still have 3 Feelings of Dread in this deck. Yeah. Pass the turn. Opponent mills. Island Crossway Vampire. Play a second Mountain. And look at how good Ghostly Possession is. Just completely shut down that Iron Fang. Okay, opponent goes to combat. They attack. We will block. Grimgrin Corpseborn. Okay. Well, it is a sack outlet for their useless creatures they got there. Draw an island, play an island, mill, pass the turn. Okay. Opponent mills Island and another Crossway Vampire. They're going to Traitorous Blood our Fortress Crab. Alright, that is a problem, because they can just sack that to Grimgrin to deal with it. Okay, beginning of combat, we are going to Feeling of Dread. We're going to need to draw some Feelings of Dread, though. Opponent did not untap Grimgrin in time, so that's 7 damage they missed. We untap, we draw Rolling Temblor, which we can use to get rid of all of Grimgrin's fodder. Rolling Temblor, except for the Iron Fang. Opponent should just sack their whole board, basically, to Grimgrin. Okay. Mill with Bell. Nice, we got a Feeling of Dread. Play a Plains. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Mills 2. Oh, shoot. I needed the Feeling of Dread in response, and I did not. Now it has Hexproof, which means I have to play Scob to block. That might be okay. We'll find out. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Technically, Scob might win us the game if we mill over the mill spell with Flashback. We did not. Mill our opponent for 1. Okay, pass the turn. Our opponent has to have a creature to sack to Grimgrin to untap it, and removal spell for Scob. They have to have both of those things. Actually, they just have to attack. They just have to have a creature of any kind in the 5 cards in their hand. Because I was an idiot and forgot that Mask of Avacyn grants hexproof. Oh. The fact that they're not just windmill slamming it, though, tells me they're either not figuring that out or... No! Opponent, no! How dare you punish me for forgetting to cast Flashback Feeling of Dread. Well, at least it's by Grimgrin's hand that I die, or Hook. So we would have drawn Ghoul Caller's Bell, and our opponent would have died. Oh well. Well, this was kind of fun. Wasn't that great of a deck, but it was fun. Mill is completely viable. You just need lots of Ghoul Caller's Bells, because like half of those games, if we had had both Ghoul Caller, or 2 of our 3 Ghoul Caller's Bells in our opener, we would have won. It is my favorite archetype to draft, even if it's technically one of the worst ones. It's just so much fun to play. I highly recommend it if you ever get the chance to draft triple Innistrad that you try the mill strategy, if it's open. Up next, after this in the limited slot's going to be Vintage Cube finally. I'm so happy to play Vintage Cube again. It's going to be around for basically a month, so you'll have some Vintage Cube to look forward to next in the limited slot. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys next time. Please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you like what you saw. It'd mean the world to me if you did. And remember, I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which are U.S. time zones. And I hope to see you there. Bye!